This is just a quick tutorial on how to install a brake controller for a Tesla Model Y. I tried to find something similar to this when I was looking to do this installation, and since this is relatively new for the Tesla Model Y and I couldn't find anything helpful, I thought I would make this easily shared YouTube video of some screenshots and photos from my experience. Let's dive in. So if you place an order for a Model Y and you opt for the factory installed tow hitch, which currently as of this video is $1,000 extra to have pre-installed, supporting up to 3,500 pounds and 350 pounds of tongue weight, this video would apply to your car. You also do have the option of ordering on the Tesla shop the tow hitch after the fact. It's in the Model Y exterior options. It's currently sold out as I'm making this video, $1,200 if you do it after the fact, but should end up with the same results. I've chosen the Tekonsha P3 brake controller. There are a couple of different models out there, different companies. This is a highly rated version. There's also the P2, which is the previous model. Basically has the same features minus a color screen and some easier navigation of menus. Saves you a few dollars if you want to go with the P2 model. So obviously to get started you will need a brake controller, and most brake controllers come with a pigtail. You see that in my screenshot above. The top left item that came with my P3 plugs into the back of the P3 and has exposed wiring to be able to connect it to the vehicle. Now, Tekonsha does have some adapters for specific vehicles so that you can actually plug straight from the P3 directly into the plug that's buried inside the footwell of the Model Y, which I'll show you. But as of the making of this video, the Model Y is not listed, and so there is one critical piece that you will need from Tesla that even they aren't including with the Model Y and probably should be. This is that piece. This is the connector end of essentially another pigtail. So it's this connector on one end and it's bare wiring on the other end. And this is what you would splice together with your brake controller pigtail so that you can plug one end into the Tesla, this end, and the other end into your brake controller, the one that came with your brake controller. And that's how the brake controller will communicate with the vehicle, of course. And so this piece is currently listed under this part number that you're seeing here for the Tesla Model X. It's not actually part of the Model Y parts catalog yet, which I think is an oversight of Tesla at this point, but is absolutely needed. So my local parts department was kind enough to hook me up with one of these. Since the Model Y manual states I should get it, they did give it to me free of charge. Your mileage may vary on that, but it is required in order to configure the brake controller. So make sure you have that from your Tesla service center, whether you have to order it and pay for it or can get them to provide one for you at no cost like I did. Two extra things I purchased that are certainly optional, but I found helpful. On the left, this is a Velcro type product, but they're plastic teeth on both sides of the fastener rather than a soft fabric side. It has a much stronger holding power. And then the back sides are adhesive. And I'm using this to mount the brake controller's mounting bracket to the underside of the Tesla's dash. The other thing I bought were some push-in wire connectors. The standard ones that came with the P3 were just those crimp style, and I find those problematic, especially considering the Tesla pigtail had slightly different gauge of wire than the P3, and so it was just easier to use these universal push-in wire connectors. Okay, so that's what I did next. I put together the pigtail from the P3 and the pigtail from the Model X, technically, but works for the Model Y, and you can see that here. Just follow the instruction for your specific brake controller or what each color of wire means for its pigtail. And then the Tesla actually didn't state in the Model Y manual which color was for which component, what was power, what was ground, etc. But the good news is the wires themselves do. And so it was actually really straightforward. They have it pre-printed on each of the wires. And so now it's time to install our pigtail. There is a connector that's included in the Model Y when you have the tow package that is inside the driver's footwell. The Model Y owner's manual has a nice graphic that points to the exact correct location. It's at the base here, right where the trim starts to turn backwards towards the rear of the driver's door. So right at the base of my screenshot here. And so I'm going to continue to peel back the carpet. And you'll notice there's a rigid foam piece there you can see behind it. That needs to be peeled forward as well. And you just want to continue to peel that forward and look down inside there as far down as you can. It's at the base of this gap that we've created, a little bit hard to get to, but I'll zoom in here and you can see at the bottom that white connector. It is affixed to some pieces in there, so I didn't find it movable, but just accessible enough that I could then plug the pigtail into it. And so I created just a nice little loop with some zip ties in case I ever needed the extra length of cording but wanted to keep things organized. And since I'm planning to mount this directly above what would be the driver's left knee on that smooth plastic bit you can see under the dash, I don't need a ton of cabling, and so the pigtail can just stick out like that. I have enough wiggle room in the cables that I can, pull that out if I need to disconnect the brake controller when I'm not using it, and that should work just fine. I've mounted the P3 to its permanent mounting bracket. It does come with a snap-in mounting clip that you can easily remove the P3 from, but it leaves behind that clip, and I wanted a cleaner look than that, which is why I'm using the 3M dual lock on top of the permanent mounting bracket so that I can easily essentially just un-Velcro the entire thing for a much cleaner look. Just be sure no matter how you are mounting your brake controller, you follow the manufacturer's requirements for positioning. Most of these brake controllers leverage an accelerometer to help determine the rate of change in your vehicle's speed to determine how forcefully to apply the trailer brakes, and so they have to be pointed in the right direction. And the P3 has to be pointed in the same direction of travel as the vehicle and has to be level left to right, but can be mounted in any position front to back 360 degrees. So I've tipped mine up slightly so that I can more easily read the screen while I'm seated behind the wheel. Hopefully this video has been helpful. I've included links to the things that I purchased below in the description. Feel free to give it a like and to share. Hopefully it helps others.